Well, that's the question. How well connected are we? I think Klaus from Volvo Cars did a poll earlier on here today, and it was, quite representative figure. And of course, the ones in the back, you saw how many hands you had in front of you. I was sitting, in the front, so I couldn't really see how many it was, but I know Klaus is out there somewhere, and you probably had the best view of it, so we can compare figures a little bit later on. But this is the question, and you will probably be a little bit surprised, but I will not dwell on the number. I will really go into what we need to do in order to be more connected. And that's important, because that's how we take this industry forward. That's how we realize all the dreams and visions, and that's how we all find our place in the ecosystem and the value chain. So it's a year ago since I was on this podium talking to you. And I've been traveling around a lot in the world. We're doing business in more than 50 countries in the world, delivering services to numerous brands. We've done probably 30 OEM telematics programs since we started WirelessCar, year 2000. Volvo Cars were actually the first solution we took to market, so we're celebrating 15 years of telematics business together. And you have to come out to our booth and take a look on everything we've done so far, and especially with Volvo Cars. But I think the main themes during the year being out there has been mainly two. And I would start the discussion by going through them as major drivers of the industry. Internet of Things. I hear that wherever I go, and it drives me crazy. Why? Well, Internet is there. The things are there, but are they really connected? We're talking about connecting fridges, talking about connecting coffee machines, we're talking about connecting cars, and that's important. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about connecting a lot of devices, and not only connect them to each other to create value. And I love that vision. It doesn't drive me crazy in that way. I believe in it. But is that what we need to focus on? Well, let's talk about that. Secondly, focusing on the car. What do we use the car for? What's the purpose of the car? And how do we utilize that in the best way from a consumer experience point of view? That's interesting. So the day we get automatic cars, we can remove a lot of the infrastructure. We don't need it really, because the car will have it built in. We can remove even more, and we can control lanes and have bicycles going their own way, not messing up with the rest of the traffic. That's interesting. So autonomous cars are the second big discussion point during the last year. Will be in the future as well, of course. But what's the clue then? Well, Roger said security, security, security. I would say, Houston, we have a problem. And that problem is, we only have 25 million cars connected today. OEM connected. Yes, there is a lot of aftermarket solutions, OBD2 dongles, and I'm talking through the year. I've probably talked with 30 companies that had the billion-dollar question solved by OBD2 dongle. Sorry, I don't believe in that. This is going to be driven by the OEMs. The value for the OEMs to transform their business is so vital for the future, so they will keep this in their hands. Doesn't mean OBD2 dongles or aftermarket solutions will not be there. It will be, but it's not going to drive the business forward for good reasons. So we're talking about 1 billion vehicles running around on this planet, 1.2, Roger said. Well, it means 2.5% of the vehicles are connected. Is that good enough? No. That's why we need to call Houston for help. And Houston has happened to be on the scene today. So I would tell you what we need to do. Number one, there's roughly 1.2 million fatalities in the traffic caused by a vehicle today. If we don't do anything about this, In 15 years from now, we will roughly double that figure. Huge business case for the society, for all of us. There is $1,000 billion of an opportunity out there in the aftermarket. And in that $1 tera, we have the whole warranty from the industry as well. So let's dive into that a little bit later. 50 million cars recalled in US only last year. Well, actually, 2 days before this, I was educated, it was not 50 million, it was like 74 million. So I'm a little bit, down on the figures here, not to overplay the scenario. But of course, we know a large part of that was caused by the airbags. But it doesn't matter. It was a consumer experience for each of the cars recalled. And we need to do something about that. So WirelessCar's role in this is just to provide a service and the integration platform to enable these services to be enhanced, to enable consumer experience, and to enable the possibility of realizing all the nice ideas we have. We're talking about, and that was a question during the panel this morning, so to Brian and Klaus, representing Subaru and Volvo. So how do you go after this revenue? Do you outsource that? Well, that was a good question, because there are some OEMs doing that. And that's not the way you should do it. This is your transformation of selling a product to someone out there, like me, or Giuseppe, and then just fire and forget, get the revenue for the car, leave the aftermarket to the industry to treat it as they want. That's not the future. Transforming this business into the digital age means that you enrich the customer experience, you connect the customer, you connect your consumers into the whole experience of the life cycle of your product. Because you will still have a product, but you will sell it as a service moving forward. The B2C concept that's a few OEMs have used, meaning that people like us should actually sell this directly, the telematics services directly to the consumers. It doesn't work. Why? Well, it doesn't matter what price you put on the service package. As a consumer, you're not prepared to pay for it. And it doesn't matter if it's $10 a month or $100 a month. We are not prepared to pay for it. So there's no business in going to a B2C relationship with people like us. And the business case is not there. It's not about selling services to your consumers. It's to change the experience of the total brand that really create opportunity. And the business opportunity is inside the OEM and the closed ecosystem. So let's take a look on some examples here. The safety security. Volvo Car is a good example. In Brazil, since they launched Volvo On Call in Brazil, there's been 0 people killed in a Volvo car. Actually, it hasn't been any serious injured people in a Volvo car. Okay, that's a figure that we can change tomorrow, but it doesn't matter. That's 4 years of history. It's a small population of cars, but still, it's so valid. It's not because of the e-call capability. It's because of a brand that takes safety and security really serious, building a complete experience to address that opportunity. Another interesting fact, 100% of all the cars stolen were retrieved. And 91% within 2 hours, which is a really critical time limit, as the car disappears outside of coverage within 2 hours. The user experience. And now I need help. Use Stone. Okay, quick move. Am I consuming too much time? Or? So, contextualization. We're talking about heating up cars. We're talking about climatizing cars. We're talking about using remote opportunity with the car. Heating up the car is a good example. But we don't want that to be a function of me remembering to heat up the car, when I leave the work. So connecting that to information available, connected to systems that can generate the message to me that, Martin, you normally leaves at 7 o'clock in the evening. Do you want the car to be heated up? Yes or no? Don't leave it to me to pick up my smartphone, open up the app, push the heater button. I will forget that 9 times out of 10. You will see this coming through. And wouldn't you love that when you get back from a business trip, your car is climatized to exactly the same temperature as when you left it in the airport? Because it knows when you land, it knows that the flight was in time, it knows that it takes 30 minutes in Detroit to get through US immigration, et cetera, et cetera. Information is there, we need to use it. Aftermarket, we talked about that, that's a great opportunity. Well, take the battery, the starting battery in a normal combustion car today. The battery is the biggest fault problem in the industry. So that's broken. What does it mean? It means you call the roadside assistance, and today with the Volvo car, you can do that quite easy. It's just a push, on the human interface in the car or on the app. But it breaks down, and you're left out there. You need to get someone there to tow you away, down to the shop to repair it. If that happens, the warranty assigned to that car is basically gone for the entire warranty period. And you car makers in here, you know that 2-3% of your total revenue is assigned to the warranty budget per year. You put it in your books the first day in the year, and then you consume it. You can do the math by yourself. It's a big amount of money. If we can help the industry to monitor that battery, and today it's even more important. We have the start-stop function in the cars. We're using the cars in different ways, so we never charge the battery properly if we live in a big city at least, so this problem getting more and more wide. But if we can do that and connect that to processes that turn this around into an experience where someone call you up and say, hey, Martin, your battery is not good. If you keep using your car the way you do, you will actually have a problem. So why don't you come in on Friday, 2 o'clock, I have a pre-booked time for you. We fix it. Then we save the money in the ecosystem, the OEM, the dealerships, and we save my time. But number one, it's a customer experience that would keep me loyal to that brand forever. I promise you. So all these apps we talked about, that's not the way we want it. It's on the way, fading out. What do we want? We want an experience again. I want to know what weather it is based on what I'm doing. We need to personalize this and take the context and make a useful service out of it. So for example, in Sweden, we have 3 months of decent weather, 2 days of good weather. If I'm at work one of those 2 days, I want to take the opportunity to have my lunch outside. So, well, everyone knows that in Sweden, but we never have time to plan for it. So if I could have that information, related to all the possibilities and really tell, Martin, the weather is good today. Probably you should take your car and go away for a good lunch outside somewhere. That's a perfect opportunity. Or using the car, as described in the Volvo case, to actually innovate the way we experience life. Do I want to run off Friday afternoon to the big market, spend 2 hours in the grocery shop to shop for the family? Well, if I can do that easily on the internet, get it delivered to the car, just half an hour before I go home, that's a great experience from a consumer point of view. It's about saving time. It's about doing it convenient. It's do it easier and just more fun, I would say. So can we change this industry from being reactive to being proactive? Of course we can. But we cannot do it alone. And I think from this perspective, if we can address all the aspects of safety, security, personalization, making this a consumer experience which is unique for me, and making sure that we connect the product and enhance the experience into extremely valuable services for the OEM, for the dealerships, and for the whole ecosystem around it, then we have the business case. Then we will have not 2.5% cars connected, but maybe 50% of the cars connected. And then we can afford to do it, because today, the investment in our technology and MNO, SIM cards, broadband, that's not the big investment. The big investment is when we, as a good example in the car, when your lamp goes red, you have this tool saying that you need to do service. Well, it's probably a 0% probability that you need service. You need that either before or after, for sure, because that's just based on mileage. We have the information to base that on reality. Doing that process change probably costs 100 times more than implementing the technology. So how can we expect our customers, the OEMs in this case, to make that investment when 2.5% of the population is connected? It doesn't work. Some OEMs are more connected than others, but the investment to go there and the investment above that unique OEM ecosystem, going to the broad IoT and what we need to do in type of integration to get to autonomous cars, those investments are enormous. And they would never happen if we don't have the base for it. This is simple business laws. So having this put together, we will also change how we look on ownership. So what we see today is that a lot of fleet management solutions are coming up to really make use of the fleet opportunities for company cars and small business, etc. That together with having a digital secure key in the car, the possibility of unlocking, locking the car, remotely start the car, that's paving the way to car sharing. Innovative carpooling solutions. And if you put the autonomous functions on this, it really makes sense. But we don't really need to go all that way. We have the functions here today, and we can do a lot with the small functionality that we put into this segment day by day. So autonomous cars, great vision, great dream. Will I experience that in my lifetime? I don't know, but I don't care. Because every day there is new technology in there, really helps us achieve all the goals in here. Making sure that, that bicycle that drives out uncarefully on the road doesn't get hit because the car stops. That's a great invention. Most of the cars have it today. One step towards the big vision. And this is where we don't want to end up, the Internet of nothing. But 2.5% is pretty close to nothing. So let's make sure we focus on the real services that adds value and really gives us the opportunity to drive this forward. And for sure, we need something to do it. We need a platform. And it's not going to be one dominant platform solving everything. We're living in an ecosystem. We will need unique platforms for taking care of health for people. That's life services. It's the same with cars. When we go into autonomous cars, this is going to be life-critical services. We already have life-critical services by emergency calls, but it's going to be even more important. So we need to develop all this insight in the processes, not only how automaker works, but how the whole ecosystem will work in the future. We cannot do that by ourselves. We will need a lot of platforms. We will need platforms from, interesting players like Giuseppe's company, Octo. They consolidate in the insurance industry into one platform delivery. And if we all provide these open interfaces to each other, then we can probably make this happen. And the knowledge and experience that we need is from all of you in this room. So we need to do it together. We need to start to work together. We need to provide solutions that are open and can talk to each other. By then, I think this is over and out by technology. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened here. It's sort of rowing my end line. But it doesn't matter. I leave it by there. So thank you very much for your attention.